Hello. Um, my things have been a bit easier today. They're still extremely challenging, but I'm able to get on, and I know things can fall apart at any second, but it's just a bit nice to not have to fight every little thing, and at least I can have a focus. I think that's the way to put it. That it allows me something that resembles life. Sorry, my teeth are a bit dirty there. Yeah, it's not to complain, this video. It's not to tell a story either, but I thought I'd share an update on something that could no doubt seem quite comical, if not totally bizarre to a lot of people. The fact that I believe I'm in a coma, and I stated it a month or two back, and no, I'm definitely sincere about that. It's what I believe, and it's where I'm putting a lot of energy in terms of assessing my entire life to really try and figure out where this coma occurred. So in my mind, well, what's happened is like I'm living my life, and at some point in my life there's an event that's occurred, maybe a car crash. I've been in 2 or 3 car crashes, maybe an operation where I was induced into sorry, where I was induced, is it when you're basically put under the anaesthetic. During the time on mental health, there have been many opportunities, let's just put it that way, as a result of my stupidity or difficulties. And really and truly, my understanding is that when I state coma, it could be some sort of induced dream. So like something similar to Inception, where you're put into a dreamlike state. And that really does link into certain spiritual understandings, taking into account Carlos Castaneda and a few other spiritual concepts that I just can't bring to mind. But if it is an induced dream, really, how much of an event needed to take place? It really could be at any time in your life. And on top of that, my understanding is, if it was like a near-death experience sort of happening, when you enter the underworld, or the process of transitioning from this life to another life, and essentially dealing with whatever is unresolved in this life, you're not actually aware you're dead, and you just carry on as if the life never never ceased. I don't know how true that is with like the elderly, you know, when you get old, because it's like your entire life really does emphasize the death. It really does emphasize you dying. Like your entire family would be surrounding you. I mean, I'm talking about most circumstances. If you were to die in a hospital-like situation where it was a gradual death, but then thinking about it, how many gradual deaths are there really? It's most deaths are sudden, a heart attack, or you die peacefully in your sleep. So I think that might draw the line, but really it's neither here nor there. For myself, I believe I'm in a coma. I just call it a coma. It could be a dream, as I said. And I've been reflecting back on my life, and my thinking is that my entering into spiritual studies over the years is my coma, and this process essentially guiding me. Guiding me through providing appropriate teachings and references to get this comprehension of a life after death. And without the spirituality, I would never have been able to come to this point of understanding. I mean, we have the movie Inception, and really, I mean, that says it bluntly. You're in a dream. But how much of a how much can you really believe that you're in a dream without appropriate teachings or references along the way to get you there, unless you're somewhat induced in some sort of mental illness, so some sort of psychosis, to get you there as the bridge, so to speak. You'd need something like a spirituality as a reference. So my thinking is when I entered into this place, it was before I really began spiritual studies. And really and truly, I've been into spirituality since a child. And I think one of the points that I'm considering as when this occurred was when I was about 4 years old. We'd moved to our second home. My mother, father, in Chingford. That's pretty much where I spent most of my childhood growing up. We'd had a new arrival to the family in my sister, and my dad, being a builder at the time, was expanding the house by building an extension. And whilst they were putting together the extension, they dug the foundations, and my uncle Costas was he was also a builder. He is also a builder, and he was helping. He worked with my dad, and he was helping with the extension, as I understand it. And one day I was there, and my uncle Costas was carrying me, and he had his arms wrapped around me, as I understood it. And he went to step over the foundations with me in his arms, like that, like a bear hug. And the story is, apparently he missed his step, and with me in his arms, he and this bit's a little bit gory, I think, but he fell, and with me in his arms, he fell into the ledge, And apparently I hit my mouth on the ledge. Sorry, on the how would I describe it? On the edge of the hole of the foundation. So I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say. And apparently I smashed up all my teeth, and I was bleeding quite badly. But the thing is, if we really take into account spirituality and what's come my way in understanding of spirituality, we go back to the pyramids. And with the pyramids, you have the pyramid above ground, but apparently a lot goes on underneath ground, and they've got lots of information online if anybody's interested, but I think it's referenced as the subterranean chamber. And a lot of people, especially of a spiritual nature, as I understand it, at least one Egyptologist that are holding in high regard, and I've at least watched her movie of her understanding of Egypt, which explains a lot of her views. But as I said, I'm almost certain I've heard it from different sources, and that is the subterranean chamber is actually the initiation part of the pyramid, so to speak. So whatever goes on above ground is, it's a bit beautiful. It's a really nice building, very simplistic. Once upon a time, all covered in limestone, shining, beaming with the capstone on top. And the subterranean chamber is all dark, and it's not quite finished, and it's all rocky and bumpy. And what it is, I think I'm in that process, I'm in that subterranean chamber in this house in Chinkford, where they're building an extension and there's foundations. And I believe my uncle Costas has taken me through that process, or is taking me through that process. I realised that yesterday. I think that's really where I am. It really does tie in, because my first memory was in and around that age. That's as far as I can recall. Yeah, it's just that's what I've guessed at. There are a lot of other events in and around when I was 18 or 19. And then a period where I was about a little bit younger than 18 or 19. I think I might have been about 17. And I realised it could be there, because it's just like that period when I was about 17. It's like a lot of the people I've met, a lot of the things sort of almost reflect back. That's what I realised, to that period. But just taking into account how important memory is to me, and how much I've worked at memory in the past, and the fact that my first memory is around that age of about 4, when I had that accident, I think I'm settling on that. So if anyone knows how to get out of the subterranean chamber in the pyramid, when you're going through initiation, please do send me an email, because I think that's as far as I've got. I've hit a stumbling block. Well, not a stumbling block, but that's just as far as I've got in this inquiry into this coma, because I truly believe it. And well, I want to go back. This life hasn't proven all it's been cracked up to be. I don't know how much. I think I know. I think I know what I've got to do. And ironically, it's the same thing I knew what I had to do before I knew, or I admitted to myself that I'm likely in a coma. And that is get over my fears. That's get over my fears. It's quite as simple as that. Find my own personal freedom. And I think the difference is before when I didn't know I was in a coma and I thought I had to do that, it was all quite simplistic of what the process may have been. Because I thought, on some level I thought, right, to do the work, get over my fears, and I don't know what, I become enlightened, something happens, and life carries on. But holding that in mind and just what life has made me do is really, really stop and look at my life now, especially what I've been through over the past, well, over the course of my mental health specifically. And yeah, that's really been enough to make me realise things aren't right in terms of a normal existence. Really reflecting and being honest with myself, I look at it and I think with everything I've learned, and looking at all the energy I have given to my life in trying to live, in trying to be good, I can't deny it. And it's shocking, and it's taken me a little while for that to really sink in. But somehow my mental health problems have given me the ability to take that concept of being in a coma, and because the rest of my life is such a mess, and I don't want to say all over the place, but I scream all day long, I can't get dressed in the mornings, and things are difficult. I mean, I still, up until this year, I mean, I still had a life. But what I'm trying to say is that my mental health has given me the ability to take that incomprehensible idea and really be able to believe it and live it in a way that's grounded as possible. And I don't think I could have really have done that without my mental health. I would have had to have been high as a kite. And if I'm high as a kite, how real could that idea have been? But this is succinct. It's none of it's pleasant. None of it's oh, I'm in a coma, how fantastic, how high, let's all. It's really not pleasant. It's just like, I wouldn't want to admit it, but that's where I am. And it's interesting because I know I have to get over my fears. And as I said before, I believed I was in a coma. I had an idea of what that might entail. But I guess now I'm in a coma, and that still applies. More reflection needs to be given there. So we'll see how this one turns out. I'm guessing there's a lot of surrendering to do to life, to discomforts, to suffering. And if I am to return to my body at that point in time, when I was about 4, with my uncle having smashed up my mouth, blood pouring out, I'm going to have to be able to take that pain on a physical level. So I think all the experiences of pain, physical pain and discomfort, along with the teachings of my uncle specifically, and all the other different teachers I've had along the way. So my uncle has taught me certain qigong exercises, very simplistic, nothing too complex, and they're instilled in my mind, and through my everyday life I try to apply them where and when possible. And along with all the other teachings that I've had along the way that have created a mindset to accompany that physical, energetic strength, because if it's all mind and energy, all I need to do is be able to apply that when I'm a 4-year-old, and I should still get some sort of not relief, but some sort of extra ability to hold that pain even in a 4-year-old's body being so weak. So yeah, it's just to be able to share, and I'm going to continue with my tattooing for now.